Hi everyone! Welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio and tonight's YouTube Live. If this is your first time visiting, I am so glad that you're here. Thanks for joining us. And I see lots of familiar faces, so thanks for coming back. I'm excited about tonight's project. We're going to be doing some punching to create some really interesting and unique corners on our card tonight. And I'm using one of my very favorite products in the Occasions catalog. Before we get started, I want to just take a couple seconds here and introduce you to Megan Justice. If you're here during the live chat, you'll see Megan's name in blue off to the side. Megan is my virtual YouTube assistant, and she's here to help moderate comments and answer questions. Because obviously when I got my head turned down to the stamp table and I'm busy stamping, sometimes I can miss those. And I don't want your questions to go unanswered. If for some reason Megan is unable to answer it, please know that I come back and read every single comment, and I either heart it, which means I've read it and I liked it, or I've replied to you. And I'll pin those answers to the top of the comments here in YouTube once the live is over. So I'm so glad that you've been here with me tonight. I'm glad that those of you are here that have returned. It's exciting to see you. All right. What do you say we get started? I'm just glancing off to make sure I've got everything nearby. So I'm going to turn the camera down. Here we go. Okay, give me just 1 second to get you guys all squared in and nice and close so that you can see. And then I'm going to turn on my light. I've got a fancy dancy light here that really helps me in order to give you a little bit better lighting on what we're doing. I am going to bring in a small piece of grid paper. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but we sell these mini grid sheets. They're 7 by 7. They were designed specifically to fit in the Stamparatus, which is our stamp positioning tool. But I love them if I'm doing a small project where I want to move it in and out of the way. They do come on a pad, so you can rip off one at a time. Love that they're double-sided. Love that they're grid so that you can keep things nice and straight. I'm going to start with a piece of Whisper White scrap cardstock. And what I'm going to be using tonight is this, the Butterfly Gala. Now, some of you may already have seen that the Butterfly Gala stamp set is available, but you may have also seen that this beautiful butterfly duet punch is not available right now. So if you've tried to order it as a bundle, which means both the stamp and the punch, it may have come up unfound and you're thinking, what's going on? Lisa's got it as her card making kit this month. I do. So I want to talk to you about this very, very briefly. This is available. Stampin' Up! Manufactures their own stamp sets. Those stamp set is available for you to purchase. The punch right now is on such an extreme backorder situation because of a manufacturing issue. Chinese New Year, unfortunately, the punches do come from China. Stampin' Up! Has sought American options for many years. There just isn't one at this time. So unfortunately with Chinese New Year, they literally shut everything down and the punch is on back order. And we don't want things to become so excessively back ordered that you're not able to get them and you're waiting and waiting. So we've turned the ordering number off for this punch at this time, but I got great news for you. This punch is going to be in the brand new annual catalog that's going to come in June. Now, do I think it's going to take till June for this punch to come in? I don't think so. That's my own personal opinion. I really don't think so. Based on my 20 years as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I really don't think it's going to take that long. So if you are interested in this, buy the stamp set now and then get the punch a little bit later. I also want to call your attention to the Occasions catalog. Here we've got the Occasions catalog, and you're going to be able to find that Gingham Gala suite with those products we just talked about here. They're on page 35. There is another bundle of products in this catalog that are butterflies as well, and I wanted to make sure you didn't miss them. So it's called Beauty Abounds. It's right here at the top, and it has beautiful butterfly framelit dies that will work great for this card tonight. So please keep that in mind. Now, if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you're interested in receiving a complimentary copy of the current Occasions catalog or our annual catalog, please let me know. Leave a comment here and then I'll reply so that I can get to you and get an address. We are also in Stampin' Up's largest sale of the year, and it's called Celebration. And the products in these brochures are absolutely free with a $50 product order before shipping and tax. There are even selections with a $100 order for those of you with a larger wish list. All right, now that I've got the formalities out of the way, I just wanted to make sure I talked about that before we got stamping. I've mounted my images and I'm going to be using my Memento ink. This is my black ink pad of choice when I'm not doing any watercoloring. This is a water-based ink. Please keep in mind that if you're going to use alcohol blend markers, it's going to bleed with anything other than Memento. So just keep that in mind. I've mounted one of the images from that stamp set, and you're going to find that one here. The great thing about this set is you're going to find that there's images here to fill in the wings, as well as different style of butterflies. And did you notice how they're doubled here? Well, that is how the punch is made. So it's actually going to punch out both images at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink this up. And tonight I'm primarily looking for the bottom butterfly, the one that's here, the larger one. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that, and I'm going to stamp. Because it's very detailed, I try to take my time and make sure that I trace out that design so I get a really good impression. And I'm going to stamp one more here next to it. And this is why I have my grid paper underneath, so any overage is going to fall there. Now I've got my Stampin' Scrub right off camera. In your case, it might be your chamois. That's fine. I'm going to slide that ink pad off. And I'm going to switch over now to the Grapefruit Grove. That's the color that I'm going to be using this evening. Go ahead and open that up. And remember we just talked about those solid images? Well, here is the first one. That's going to fill the top half of my wings. I'm going to ink that up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the top. Now this is photopolymer. Now my head's pretty far away because of the camera. But you can see where it's going to go, and that makes this really easy to use. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this one up as well, and I'm going to fill in the second one too. All right, so we've got our tops all done. I'm going to switch now over to that bottom image, which is this image here. And this one I want a little bit lighter. I want to make this a little bit interesting to look at. I want some texture to here. So I'm going to ink that up. I'm going to stamp off on my grid paper, and then I'm going to fill in the bottom half of my butterfly. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing here. I'm looking to line that up the best I can. There we go. Now you can see the two different tones. The great thing about these ink pads is you're going to be able to receive several shades of color from one ink pad, which is really going to go a long way when you're trying to fill in images, especially with two-step stamping, which is kind of what I've done here. Is I've used the outline image and then the filled-in image to give you some color. This is going to eliminate any coloring in. Now, one of the other reasons I absolutely love this stamp set is that because if you love to color, guess what? You can. So we've got outline images for you if you don't want to fill them in. The next thing I'm going to do here is we're going to add a body. Now, typically, I like to add the body after I punch so I have perfect alignment. But tonight, that's not going to be too important, and I'll show you why in just a few minutes. So I've got this long little stick figure here, and I'm going to show it to you here in the stamp set. So there's one here, and there's one here. This is meant to be for the smaller bodies, and this one for the larger bodies. I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp that here in the center. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little bit thicker here at the top, which is supposed to delineate the head. So I'm just going to stamp that here, and then I'm going to do one more here. All right, now there are antennas, but we're going to fuss with that in just a few minutes. It's really easy to do. And then I'm going to bring in that punch. So I'm going to turn this upside down so I can see where I'm going. And I'm going to slide that image down inside. Now I realize that my body is probably not going to fit in there perfectly, which is exactly why I like to stamp the body last. So if I wasn't going to be doing what I'm doing tonight, I would actually stamp the body last to help fill this image a little bit better. And with the photopolymer stamp, I find that that's easy to do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll punch out that one, and then I'll move over here and we'll do the same thing with this one. I'm going to line up the wings just to kind of get a little bit of a border around them, and I'll punch that out as well. All right, so let me set that off to the side, clear off some of those scraps. So now we've got our two butterfly wings. I'm going to switch over now to a piece of Whisper White cardstock. This is 4 1/4 by 11 inches. I have scored it right before you joined me for tonight's video. And I'm going to go ahead and fold that in half. I'm a big fan of my bone folder for those nice crisp edges here on my cards. I'm going to go ahead and fold that in half. That bone folder is going to be a little extra important tonight because I'm going to use the detailed trio punch. Now this punch is called a trio for several reasons. You see the 3 different images here? This little oval opening here not only makes beautiful little design elements in your paper, but it creates the perfect ribbon hole for those little bit thicker ribbons. This one here is a decorative corner. Isn't that pretty? And then this one here is the corner rounder, and that's what I'm going to use tonight. Leave the punch flat on your surface. That's going to make it the easiest way to work. and you're going to want to punch in the center. So I'm going to slide the top right corner inside my paper, and I'm going to lift this for just a second to show you. There's a paper guide here and here. So you want to make sure the paper is in all the way, see it here, so that you've got it lined up just right. And then once you have it in there, give it a punch in the center, and it's going to round out that corner. I'm only going to do one. I know some of you are probably thinking, only one? Yeah, I told you this was going to be really unique tonight. So I'm going to set that aside. Now I've brought in a piece of designer series paper. This is from the Gingham Gala Designer Series paper. This paper has been so incredibly popular that it was on back order. Good news, it's due back in on Monday, which is the 18th, so don't worry. It comes in 5 colors. I want to pull that out and show it to you really quick because, oh my gosh, this paper is beautiful. So we've got balmy blue, we've got that absolute gorgeous daffodil delight, the grapefruit, what we're using tonight. There's the Highland heather and the lemon lime twist. So I've got the Grapefruit Grove. Now this paper is double-sided, so you're going to see that the gingham pattern on one is a little bit tighter and this one is a little bit wider. I'm going to use that corner rounder again, and I'm going to slide my designer paper in, making sure it's in all the way, and I'm going to press. So I've got that same rounded corner, but I'm also going to round the opposite corner down here. I'll slide that one in as well, and I'll give that a press too. All right, so now we've got that rounded. And I've got one more piece, so we've got another layer. And this is just Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm rounding this one. Opposite corner is going to go in, and I'll round that one as well. Okay, so I'm done with my punch. I'm going to set that aside. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this gingham paper to my card base. Now, I absolutely love my silicone craft sheet because it helps to keep my work surface sticky free. Adhesive, liquid glue, and even hot glue will not stick to this. It'll simply rub right off. Isn't that wonderful? This is a must-have as far as I'm concerned in your stamp room. It works wonders. Keeps that all nice and free of adhesive so you don't have to worry about transferring it to the front of your project. I'm going to flip that over, and I'm going to add adhesive for what I'm calling my back side tonight because I want the broader side to be on my card. And I'm going to slide that over so you can see it a little bit better. And I'm going to mount this near more so the top than the bottom. So I want to leave a little bit of room here, and then I'll just tack that in place. On this piece here, the Whisper White that we've actually done the work of the rounding, this is where we're going to add our butterflies. So I'm going to take a look, and this is where I do my little bit of a discriminative stamper thing. Okay, which one do I like better for my top, and which one do I like better for the bottom? And I think I'm going to make this one my top. And I'll put this one on the bottom. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to use my mini dimensionals. Love these. Remember the days where we used to have to cut up our big ones? Well, those days are gone. We now have mini dimensionals. They're already pre-cut. All you have to do is just peel them off and just lay them down. I absolutely love that. Now, if you find that they're too small for your fingers, I'm going to show you a little trick here in just a second. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off those paper backings. I got one more here. And then I am going to mount this butterfly on this upper portion of this white cardstock. But you know what? Let's tip it. Let's give it some visual interest. This one, we're going to do the exact same thing, but this time we are only going to put the mini dimensionals in the center. So here's my little hack for you. If you find these are really, really tiny for your hands and you're having a hard time picking them up, take your pick pickup tool. I absolutely love this tool. There's an interchangeable end here. So all you have to do is turn it, and then out comes that little spatula, and you're going to find mine's pretty gunked up. And the reason is I'm able to get up underneath those dimensionals and lift them off if I've made a mistake. And trust me, I make lots of mistakes. So that's a great little pickup tool there. And then this side is the paper piercing tool. This also comes with an interchangeable attachment of a dual-ended stylus tool for scoring. This end has a putty tip. This is absolutely wonderful for picking up sequins and small pieces of paper. For $10, that's the US price, it also comes with the refill. So this screws on and screws off. I even haven't had to replace it yet. That's how long it's lasting. So I'm going to use this end to help me pick up those mini dimensionals because they are small. That's the whole point. I'm going to put one here near the top, and then I'm going to grab one more, and I'm going to squeeze that one right underneath it. What I don't want is I don't want my dimensionals to show from the front, okay? And then I'll peel off those paper backings to these as well. This one now is going to go directly over this one to create a mirror effect, and we're going to press that in place. Then what we're going to do is we are going to pinch. Do you see now what we've done? We've just created this beautiful 3D butterfly effect. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back over to that card base, and I'm going to add now my greeting. This is from that exact same stamp set. This is one of the reasons I think this set has become my favorite in the Occasions catalog. Not only do you have these absolutely beautiful images, but you have amazing greetings. I don't know about you, but I often need a little note because sometimes I'm just doing a note card. Mixed fonts, which makes it really trendy, loving that. So I'm going to come back over here to my Memento ink pad. I push those little dimensional backings off out of the way. How many of you end up finding those all over the place because of a little static electricity, right? So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up. This one says, "You've been on my mind." I want to make sure it's not upside down. Yep, it was. I've done that. And then I'm going to stamp that here down below the bottom. I'm going to try not to get my head in the camera, but I want to try to get it as close as I can. There we go. Lots of firm, even pressure. All right. Next thing we're going to do now is we're going to add a little bit of pizzazz to this piece. So I'm going to grab a piece of solid black baker's twine. I know this comes in a very abundant roll. It's $3. You cannot go wrong. Black and white, as far as I'm concerned, go with everything. So I'm going to wrap this around here several times. So I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap. One, easier said than done tonight, huh? 1, 2, there we go. And then I've cut this longer than I need because I don't know about you, but I hate fussing with those little tiny ends. Hate that. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to make a knot. So I'm going to put my finger here and I'm going to bring, whoop, like I said, easier said than done tonight. I don't know why some nights are easier than others, right? How many of you can totally understand what I'm talking about when you're stamping? Some nights things go together so well and other nights they just don't. All right, so we've got our knot. I like to make a knot first because the twine is very thin, and I find that if I don't, oftentimes my bow will come undone when I'm wrestling with my layer to finish it. So now I'm just going to go ahead and make a bow, nothing fancy, and then I'm going to pull this tightly. Now you can see that my loops are really kind of out of proportion. So here's a tip for you. Put your finger on that knot and then gently pull the ends. That's going to make the loops of your bow smaller without losing the tension in the center of your knot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up underneath here and give those a little bit of a haircut using my paper snips, my scissors. So now we've got our little bit of a bow here. We've got a little bit of twine. We'll separate those a little bit for some visual interest. I'm going to flip this over. Oh, you know what? Let's stamp our antennas now. That'll make it a lot easier. Now I've got the antennas here, and I do want to point out that there's 2 sets of those as well. There's a larger set here for the full-size butterfly and a smaller set here for the smaller butterfly. So I chose the larger ones. Let me go ahead and ink those up. And I'm going to stamp those here right above the head. So now we've got our antennas. That's going to be a lot easier to do that way than it is going to be after I've got it mounted. Set those off to the side, and I'm going to flip that over. I'm going to switch over to my full-size dimensionals, only because I've got them. If you don't have them, the mini dimensionals for this will work fine. And I'm going to end up putting these 1 in each of the 4 corners. I'm also going to put 1 here in the center. I'm very cognizant that I'm going to be mailing this card, and I want to make sure that my dimensionals are well balanced because my card is going to go through the mail meter at the post office, which has nice big rollers in it. It's going to make my card nice and off balanced if I don't have it nice and stable. So I'm going to set this here. I'm going to offset this a little bit. So half of my image is on the designer series paper and the other half is not. Now, you know, in true Lisa form, it's not finished until it has what? I absolutely love bling. You can totally stop here by all means, but I love the little bit of pizzazz that this brings out with this beautiful grapefruit and that black. So these are the rhinestones. Again, I'm going to use my Take Your Pick pickup tool. This is going to make my life a whole heck of a lot easier. They already have glue dots on the back. Gotta love that. That's slick. So I'm going to start here at the top. And I'm going to take another one, and I'm going to do this one at the bottom. Well, it just fell off my tool because I hit it. This tip for you is going to help you to align the rhinestones a little bit more even here in the center of the body. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up a couple more. I need to make sure that I grab this one really good. I got to come up underneath them. There we go. And then I'm going to lay this one here in the body as well. And then I'm going to grab one other here. And I'm going to add that one here. Now the glue dots on the back make it so much easier for you so that you don't have to fuss with making sure that you get glue stuck on your project to make those stick down really nicely. That's also going to compensate if you haven't stamped that body perfectly like I haven't here. But isn't that pretty? Really, really simple. And look at that beautiful 3D effect here for our card. Really a pretty project. Now hang with me. I've got some other samples to share with you. Let me just clear this out of the way and make room for those. These cards that I'm going to share with you are actually part of my monthly card making kit. So right now you can enjoy making these cards with me from home. I provide you with the free pre-cut supplies to make a total of 8 cards. You'll make 2 of what I'm going to show you here. So there's 2 of these. I will give you the cardstock and the designer series paper. You'll need the inks, you'll need the stamps. If you don't have the punch, it's okay. This one is punched out. It certainly could be stamped right on top of here. So this will be 2 of those. You may be wondering how you can get my card kit. Well, my card kit is free with a $50 product order before shipping and tax. This is only available for 4 days every single month. So it started yesterday on the 13th, and it's going to go through Saturday, which is the 16th. It's imperative that you use the exclusive card making kit code. There's a special host code for the card making kit. That's how I know that you're entitled to the free pre-cut supplies. Now let me flip the camera around. To make it easy for you to put your card kit together, I give you a video so you can stamp right along with me from home. Now the video is great because you can start and stop as often as you like, working at your own pace. It allows you to learn the mechanics of the cards together. I give you a ton of tips along the way too to make things easier for you. In addition to that, I provide a color PDF tutorial with multiple pictures for every single card. There are step-by-step instructions, a supply list, and cutting dimensions for all these cards so that you can duplicate them in the future. Now, my card making customers also receive an added bonus. They get a private invitation on Facebook to join me on an event called Live with Lisa. During that event, I do numerous live demonstrations, kind of like what we do here, but on a longer version. They're going to get a bundle of free tutorials, and I give away product prize patrol just for them being a part of it. Now, if you're not on Facebook, don't worry. Just let me know when you place your card making kit order, and I'll be happy to send you the video recording of that event along with the tutorials via email. And of course, your name is still in the product prize drawing. Please keep in mind that this card making kit ordering ends on Saturday, which is the 16th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You have to use the exclusive kit host code. Otherwise, I have no idea that you're entitled to the free pre-cut supplies. Now, a couple other things that are really important. I'm reaching over for something. Bear with me. If your order happens to be $150 in product or more, do not use the code, even if it's for the card kit, because I want you to be able to redeem the Stampin' Rewards for your order yourself. But you need to let me know, so you have to email me. You'll be able to contact me easily over on my website at lisastampstudio.com. For those of you that are interested in just the tutorial for these projects, I have it there for you over at lisastampstudio.com. And last but not least, because that $50 order happens to fall within Stampin' Up's largest sale of the year, you're going to choose something from the brochure for free. These new selections are available tomorrow on the 15th. So if you want me to give you a little piece of advice, wait till tomorrow. So you'll have more options to choose a product for free with that $50 product order, and of course, get your free card kit. All right, so I hope that you've enjoyed tonight's card. I'm reaching over for it so you guys can take another peek for it. It's going to be on my website tomorrow at lisastampstudio.com. You'll be able to find the pictures, the cutting dimensions, and all the supplies there. When we're done with tonight's YouTube Live, Megan and I are going to come back and work our little magic, and we'll put some information here at the bottom of the video description, so you'll get that information a little bit earlier. I'll link the supplies there for you, and of course, I'll put in those cutting dimensions to make it easier for you to reference. I want to let you know a couple things while you're here. If you have enjoyed tonight's card and you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. It makes YouTube and I super happy. Share it. Share it with your friends on Instagram, other social media platforms. In addition to that, I'd love it if you went over to lisastampstudio.com. Not only can you shop there, but you can also sign up for my newsletter. Scroll down and it's going to say stay in the know, and just fill in your name and your email address. And I promise you, just once a week, you'll get an email from me with a free tutorial for a new project idea. I don't share that project on any of my other platforms, so I hope that you'll go ahead and sign up there so that you can enjoy that little perk for just signing up to receive those. I would like to invite you back for the next YouTube Live. I'm looking at my calendar. It's going to be on Wednesday, February 27th at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, right where you came tonight. And I hope that you'll all come back and join me. I want to thank you, Megan, for all your hard work. I see all the commenting, and I will come back and read all your comments, everyone, in case they haven't been answered. Thank you so much, everyone. I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday, February 27th. Have a great night.